closer and closer to the trade deadline we become, and louder do the Giannis comments, questions, rumors float around. So again, it feels like we're on episode 3 in a row where we're talking Giannis, but man, oh man, it's the biggest thing in the NBA right now. And I think we mentioned it 2 episodes ago where we're like, pretty much all trades in general, I think, are on hold until Giannis is figured out, because every team should be calling and trying to throw every person on their roster essentially for Giannis. There's a few exceptions, but you're pretty much like, if you're the Warriors, everyone but Steph is on the block to get Giannis to your team, which again we will talk about.
I couldn't agree more, though. I do think this is. I'm glad you said something, because I feel like, I almost, even when I was sending the outline last night, I was on the fence about it, but because you're right, you have to talk about it. It's clearly the biggest story. But I almost made the joke, where I'm like, yeah, this has been like the Giannis Antetokounmpo Drive and Dish NBA podcast. Like, he's for sure dominated the conversation, and like you said, will dominate the conversation on this episode
until it's figured out. And I think I bet teams are kind of hopeful that it happens, if it's going to happen sooner than later. Or there's some kind of thing that comes out. Because like I said, I think I wonder what the average trades per season at the trade deadline is. I actually had a stat that said something about that. I want to say it was 4 or 5 or 6 bigger name trades usually happen. Really, the only one we've had is the Trae Young trade. So you would imagine, if that's the case, everyone's on hold until we get until we get a Giannis ruling, whether it is happening or not. And then hopefully at that point, you can kind of open up the talks for whatever else is on the docket for other teams and other moves that they might be trying to make. But again, to that point, the Giannis stuff looms over it all. And I think nobody's going to make a move until they figure out what's happening there. There it is. Average of 13 deals around the trade deadline. And we're at one really trade-ish deadline. Yeah, Trae. So for that, you would think there's at least 12 others, maybe one of them being a Giannis move on the board. But again, to that, we're waiting to see. And I think all the other 12 are waiting to see what that potentially is. So again, we'll talk about that here in a second, but let's get into some Nugget stuff, because Jokic is back and now Gordon is out. He missed 16 games. Jokic missed 16 games with the hyperextended left knee and a bone bruise. That goes back all the way to pretty much Christmas, December 29th. In his game back against the Clippers, scored 31 points, 12 rebounds, didn't miss a beat, it feels like. What's good about that is it gets him back in time to remain award eligible, which is that 65 games played requirement. So in terms of the MVP narratives, he can get himself right back into that conversation. And of course, coming right back and having a 31 12 rebound game kind of continues that. Before he was injured, he was averaging a little shy of 30 points, 12.2 rebounds, and 11 assists per game. He was shooting 60 from the field, 44% from 3. So essentially picking up right where he left off. And to Denver's credit, went 10-6 while he was out. That's impressive. That was huge because they needed that. And so I guess the getting back to it with Jokic and, hitting it in stride hits a little bit of a hiccup with the Aaron Gordon injury. He'll be out for at least a month with his right hamstring injury that actually happened against the Bucks.
Yeah, and that's really because you're right. I thought they did an admirable job of staying afloat without Jokic, and that was the big question. And when you look at the standings, I mean, they're still in a pretty good position. They're right there with San Antonio. They're 5 back of OKC. So even with that, you're still not even at a striking distance of 1 at this point. There's a lot to be played still, but you need these reinforcements because Houston is hot on your tail. They're 2.5 back. The Lakers and Suns and Timberwolves are all still only 3 back. It's the Western Conference. I think after Minnesota, you got to feel pretty good about your distance there. But even then, that's, Minnesota is 3 games back, and they're in play-in position right now. Getting Jokic back, he's the best player in the league. Like, that's a huge benefit right there. When he went down, we were all thankful that it wasn't worse. But you're right. Like, Aaron Gordon, who's such a key cog to this team, and it's not like the Nuggets have just dealt with Gordon's injury. Like, Brown has missed time. Murray's missed time. Valanciunas has missed time.
Yeah.
Like, all to lesser extents. But, that to me is the bigger worry here. I mean, the two worries with one is that it's a 4 to 6 week injury and that it's a hamstring injury. Like, we know hamstring injuries just generally tend to linger longer.
Well,
like, I would worry about.
It's a re-injury too. This kind of has been nagging him, which I guess what I'll say is maybe the re-injury, the rush back was hey, let's get us through this Jokic injury.
Yeah.
Jokic is now back. Gordon, take your time to heal from this now so we can make a playoff run, essentially, But
you worry about that on the other token, too, with the other guys. Like, that's the risk then, is it's like they're constantly short of bodies. And so you do, again, because the West is so competitive, to have to keep pace with this group, you worry about the potential risk, even with Jokic, as he comes back. Like, God forbid he gets hurt long term. Like, that would be a disaster for them. But it is all about health. Like, I still think this Denver team, when they play together, has a chance to win the title this year. And it's just, you're right. Like, they just need to get everybody healthy at the same time. To that token, with how valuable Aaron Gordon is, continually, I think he's averaging 17 points a game or something this season right now. Obviously excellent on defense. They need him to be healthy if they're going to make a title run.
Not to pivot or fully pull away from the conversation, but you mentioned them in passing, and I just didn't want to miss this. Like, are you at all surprised that the Suns sit 6th in the East at 30 wins? Really only one win, and it's really like half game kind of situation from being the 4th seed in the West? Because
100%.
You look at all the other teams.
They're one of the surprises in the league. They're probably the biggest surprise in the league this year, right?
Oh, I mean, maybe the Celtics off the injury assumption.
Yeah, the Celtics being better than everybody. I agree with that. The Celtics have been way better than everybody has expected. Maybe the Raptors you put in that as well.
Might be. I would have lesser hopes for the Raptors than maybe the Suns off of just name on the Suns with Devin Booker in that. So maybe that's why. But again, I mean, you look at it, Raptors are 29 and 21. So Suns wise, like the Suns, if they were in the East, I know we always do this, but the Suns are there in the East, they're third. They're in 3rd place. Like, that's crazy. And it definitely caught me by surprise when you mentioned it. I actually looked it up just to like make sure, because I was like, there's no way the Suns are up there in that conversation right now.
Listen, man, Dylan Brooks has been hooping. Put some respect on his name. He's been great this year. Your boy Grayson Allen has been great. Book continues to be. I mean, that's the big thing too, is you got to give Book a ton of credit. Like, somebody who
how has Book been playing since the commercial came out from Kendall Jenner? Have we seen?
I don't know. His clap, like, when you send me that with not just the commercial's hilarious. The Fanatics commercial,
which, by the way,
with Kendall Jenner.
A whole weird behind the scenes, weird, like, to somehow make it about me. Part of this, that the company OBB is the company that produced that commercial. They're out in California. They're a production company. Mm-hmm. I've had like numerous interviews with them, like to join the team, but I just don't want to move to California. So it hasn't really worked out, but I've had numerous interviews with them. And I actually emailed the one of the people that I interview with. This was like, because I asked them about it a little bit, and they're like, this is one of our bigger projects we've ever worked on as we're starting to get a little more notoriety. And I was like, dude, you knocked it out of the park with that. Like, that was crazy. That was I can't believe she agreed to that. Like, I mean, money talks, sure, but like, damn, like, you're throwing everybody under the bus, including yourself in a way.
Well, my reaction too with Book is I was like, how's she gonna slander Book though? I'm like, Book is great. What do you mean he just won a gold medal this past year? Like, my guy got a super max contract. Like, Ben Simmons is an easy target because he got ran out of the league. Like, I don't, who else is there? I think Kuzma one. I don't know.
Who was the first one? She made obviously the flop out of the league was the Ben Simmons comment, which was dang, bro, you are catching strays.
Yeah, well, Ben is like, dude, did you see? I feel like I posted on my Instagram story. When I was up in Connecticut, I went to a random deli by the gym we go to. I went to go get like a post gym wrap, and bro, they had a Ben Simmons Smart Water ad on the door still, and I'm like, Why am I getting assaulted like this
Like,
in
come on,
Connecticut?
bro.
They're not even Sixers fans up here.
I currently have notifications for my Instagram account when he posts, so that I can see his fishing content, so that I can remember him as a fishing person and not an NBA person.
It's just like I want there will be a 30 for 30 one day, and I will watch it. I will fully, if he ever truly
Well, you
I just
saw,
want him to just say he was doing.
Was it Danny Green, or was it someone was just talking about the whole situation with Simmons after that playoff run?
Yeah.
Where obviously the comments were made about how he might not be a star or MVP or whatever it was. And he said that there was one person on the team that Ben would communicate with. I forget who it was, and I was very surprised at the name. It was it was a one-off. Like, it was a weird, no offense to the player that he was talking to, but it wasn't like you know what I mean, like a star. It wasn't like Joel Embiid type, yeah, he'll communicate with you type person. And he said that I think it was Danny, him, and a few other guys were going to fly out to California to go see Ben and try to like fix. And Ben literally was like, "Do not come. I will not let you in. Like, we're not doing this."
I do remember that. And Danny Green is the veteran guy who, like,
yeah,
right, he with who, you know, a champion there on multiple teams, like great NBA career at that point. Like, Danny would be the guy that you would hope Ben would listen to. And I mean, everything about that just went out. Like, his camp handled it badly.
yeah,
Like, I don't, Philly is notoriously tough. Like, I'm not going to sit here, and especially now being back in this area, and act like that Philly isn't hard on it sometimes. But that's one thing where I'm going to shoot the Sixers fan base, and whatever, maybe the Homer hat is on here, whatever. The Sixers fan base was so patient with Ben Simmons and defended Ben Simmons through so much.
Yeah.
So that's what annoyed me. What annoyed me at the end was when Ben was trying to like turn it around and say, it's like, yo, Ben, we have gone to war for you, dude. Are you kidding me? When all that rookie of the year stuff was happening with Donovan Mitchell,
we were fighting
after he got hurt his first year, all those jokes about him not shooting threes, which were true. Like,
we were fighting it.
Sixers were fully in on Ben Simmons all the way until that. It's like everything else. It's just crazy. Yeah. And we've said this multiple times. Like, it all just comes back to one play. That play when he didn't dunk on Trae Young, it just, everything broke. That's where, and it wasn't even at first where like the fan base instantly turned and it became malicious. Yeah. Dude, everybody was just in a state of shock. Like, that's what I remember that game is. It was just like, what just happened? Like, is it really, he just broke? Like, and it all tracks back to that. Like, he didn't play the next year. He goes to Brooklyn. He goes to the Clippers for a little bit. It's not like he fully like washed out of the league right away, but it was like Ben Simmons was good in that series, Justin. Game 3, I gotta go pull it up. His line in game 3, like, that was finally, it was like, oh, he broke out. Like, he's putting these playoff demons to the side. He's gonna be this world destroyer. Like, you were hoping, obviously not to that level where it mattered, but it felt like the way, like, when LeBron clicked against the Celtics in game 6, right? Where it was like, that's it. It's over now. Like, he's got it figured out. He's unleashed his final form. And then just like, his basketball reference for that is hilarious. Did not hold out, like back pain, hold out, something like that. Yeah. Game 7, or no, where is this? Game 3 against Atlanta. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, dude, Ben Simmons had 18 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds, but he just dominated that game, dude. Like, he dominated every facet of it defensively. I got to be honest, I thought he scored a little more that game.
So I found, by the way, so the podcast was called No Fouls Given Podcast, which is a very popular one. Danny Green was on it, and this is his literal quote. He said, "The media asked Coach Rivers," which is so funny. We take this back to Doc Rivers again. Another notch on the bad coach belt that we were debating or saying we should do last week. Literally ended this man's career, essentially. Asked Coach Rivers if Simmons was a championship point guard, and he said, "I don't know." And then Danny says, which is fair to say, he hadn't won a championship. I think with the fact that there were some rumblings of Philly exploring different ideas of moving him came out, and he was like, nah, F that, then I want to be traded. Break up with you before you break up with me type scenario. He said, so then I wanted to go up there to help him as he was trying to say he was being traded. we're all going to go out there, meet with him, fly out there to see him. And he told us, don't waste your time. He communicated with one or two guys on the team he was still cool with, Shake Milton being one of them. That's what I mean. It's like Shake is just so wild that that's the person. Like,
listen,
no,
man, shout out to Shake.
And that's not a hate on him. That's just like, you know what I mean? Like, that's still wild that that's just the random name that essentially he would talk to. And then to that, Simmons did return to the Sixers in the preseason. He was kicked out of training camp for not taking it seriously. He said he showed up. He was in flip-flops and in jeans, and Doc asked him to join in, and he said, nah, I'm good. So then Doc, he had sweats on, phone in the pocket, did a couple of drills. Rivers was like, yo.
He just stopped playing.
Rivers was like, yo, come on, bro. And he's like, nah, I'm good. And then Doc was like, all right, then get the F out of here and go home. And he did. So there you go.
He did. To be fair, he did for the entire season. He did. He got the F out and went home.
Yeah.
Oh
so
my God. Yeah. Just one day. We'll all watch it one day. But anyway, shout out to Phoenix. Phoenix is definitely a great story this year. Shout out to Book leading those guys, like, deserves a lot of credit. The Nuggets, man, it's just about staying afloat, but like, they've done a great job. They got to get Aaron Gordon healthy. It's good to see Jokic back. I'm still telling you, like, they're high on my contender list. Like, they're truly, top 3 teams. I think they're probably 2. Like, after OKC, to me, still, if they are healthy, they are the second best team. And I think they can take OKC. Like, I think with OKC, it's a lot more, it's a lot closer to a coin flip. Like, that's a 60-40 matchup to me, I guess, where I favor OKC right now.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah, I can get behind that with OKC. Sorry, I was trying to see if I could pull up the specific references that Kendall had for her dating. But it's not going to give me what I was looking for. So
somebody put out the starting 5 once upon a time, and I forget what it was, but like, it's a good starting 5. I'm not gonna lie, they'd win some games.
Well, right, but I was just more hoping to be like, she said this, and it was obviously referencing this player. You know what I mean? Like the flop out of the league, we all know that was Ben, like, for sure. But either way, and then like we were referencing, and what got us down this rabbit hole is Book made a comment, and she said, how's that ankle doing? He said, come rub it. It's like, dude.
Listen, man.
That's so awkward.
It's a plot line to watch for the next little bit. We shall see. And not a bad response from Booker there.
Isn't she dating Brown now?
Who? Wait,
I think she's dating Jaylen Brown.
Is she?
I thought so.
I have no idea.
Let me see. Hold on. Wow. Why is it?
I've never heard that, though, to be honest.
I swore I saw that.
I thought she was dating Bad Bunny.
Was in a relationship with Bad Bunny from February 23 to September 24. It's crazy that they have that, like, locked down. I could have sworn someone said that they were.
Yeah, I think that's fake news, Justin. I gotta be honest. I don't think I've seen that anywhere.
I'll see. Listen, it doesn't even matter for this podcast, but I swore I saw a thing.
The tabloids for that.
Yeah, man. TMZ life. Kendall Jenner, Jaylen Brown. Yeah, dating. Look at this. It's a rumor. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye out for the rumors here on the Driving Dish NBA podcast. Welcome, everybody. My name is Kevin Rafuse. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Justin Cousart.
In the 1999-2000 season, Shaquille O'Neal had 2,344 total points. Can you guess the 2 other players in that season that also had over 2,000 points?
99 and 2000?
Yes.
Okay.
I will tell you this. Allen Iverson is not on the list. He is the first out with 1,989 points total.
Okay, that would have been a guess of mine, genuinely.
Yeah.
All Sixer stuff aside. Because, I mean, the following year was his MVP year, and that one where I think it would have been a lock. But, all right, 99 and 2000. So, the Spurs were great. Is Tim Duncan on the list?
He is not on this list. It actually looks like he might not even be top 10.
Man, they won the title that year. I'd be surprised.
Duncan's 13. He had 1,716.
I mean, I don't think. Let's see who else. Lakers.
One team. Actually, I think both of these teams probably won't even pop in your head. The player would, but the team would be like. You would be like, oh yeah, I forgot they were good.
Like I forget the player was good, or I forget the team is good.
the player is good for sure, no doubt. But both teams, one we already referenced this episode, and they're doing decent. They're one of the surprises in the league. The other one we haven't referenced in probably this whole season.
So Phoenix is one. So was it Marbury?
No, not Phoenix. The other team we referenced in the East.
Toronto. Oh, it's Vince? Wow. No, I would not have had Vince that high. And I guess you're right. That's around the peak of Vince's career. Yeah. So
Vince played all 82 games that season, averaging 38 minutes per game. He had 2,107 points, which is more to Shaq having almost 240 more points than second place. Vince was number 2.
And Shaq's not shooting threes, obviously.
Right, that's what I mean. 0-3 attempt, 0-3 made. Vince Carter was attempting 2.9 threes per game.
I mean, it's not Kobe, right? Kobe's not the other one?
No, Kobe actually isn't on this top 10 list.
I mean, he's getting cannibalized by prime Shaq then. There's not much you can do there.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. Kobe's 25. There he is. He's 1,485 there.
Trying to think of other big scorers. Is it Chris Webber?
No, Weber is on the list. He's number 10 for Sacramento at 1,800. Above him, before we get into the top 5, right? Weber, right above him is Michael Finley, Kevin Garnett, Grant Hill, Jerry Stackhouse, Gary Payton, and then Allen Iverson. Third place is the player we're looking for, Vince Carter, Shaq.
Yo, is it Dirk?
No, not Dirk. Damn. But you're getting closer. I'm surprised Dirk's not on. I don't see Dirk on this list.
All right, this is my last guess. If otherwise, we got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
My last guess is T-Mac.
T-Mac is not the answer. The answer is Karl Malone.
Oh, Karl Malone. Ugh,
Karl Malone. Yeah, Karl Malone had 2,095 points.
Yeah, I need to take a shower. He had a lot of other stuff going on too, but we don't need to talk about that. But you were right. Great score. No doubt about that. He is one of the best scorers in NBA history, and that's about the only compliment I'm giving that guy on this podcast. Leave us a review on iTunes if you want to give us a compliment. Otherwise, you get the podcast anywhere you can listen to your podcast. Twitter, or not Twitter, Jesus. Amazon Music, Player FM.
Maybe Twitter.
Amazon Music, Player FM, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us. I think I said Spotify. I don't know. Spreaker, too. Can't forget Spreaker.
And then on YouTube, you can hit us up. You can watch video version of the podcast. You can also let us know if this Kendall Jenner dating rumor with Jaylen Brown is true. Apparently,
we got sources up there.
Yeah, man, we got sources. Listen, this is Jaylen Brown's girlfriend rumor is Kendall Jenner. Why? Social media thinks they're dating. Dating rumors started back at the beginning of the season. So I don't know, man. Just putting it out there. Just saying.
Okay.
There it is. But also, you can find us on YouTube. Subscribe. You'll get notifications when new episodes are coming out.
Now, word for our sponsors.
So, like a broken record, literally, we rerun it back with this Giannis stuff. Apparently, now the latest rumors being Giannis is preparing for a possible exit. February 5th is the day to keep in mind, though I bet most, like we were talking about, NBA GMs, teams would prefer this to happen a little bit earlier so that they can do the other deals that are most likely being held on the table. Obviously, Giannis should be sought after by every single team, but really, when you look into it, there's probably only a few that actually could make a run at it. Giannis is currently out with a right calf strain, expected to miss 4 to 6 weeks, so trade would have to be structured around that. I also wonder how legit it is in terms of if he's not coming back, what's the point of him playing anyway? Don't get actually hurt. Run it back like we talked about last week. They're 18-27 record. They're probably going to miss the playoffs. It's not great there, even though Giannis was essentially trying to drag the team there. He obviously made some frustrated comments. Here we are, 31 years old. The other point that's worth making is Giannis is just a few months from entering the final year of his contract. So I guess the conversation can kind of turn to that a little bit, because does that potentially lower his value if he's in that last year of his contract for the Bucks standpoint of if he's not coming back? Like, if you think he is going to hit the end of this contract and not come back in general, then you're going to lose him for nothing, right? Again, you'd get another year out of him at that point, but you could lose him for nothing. Whereas, do you trade him now and get his full value? Or could you potentially trade him in the offseason and still get his full value? Does this contract timeline really change anything?
I don't think so, because I don't think any team is going to give you a king's ransom without knowing that Giannis is going to be locked in long term, that he's excited to be there, that you're going to be able to sign. Like, Giannis is going to get his supermax. Like, the only thing that would even remotely diminish his value is that he's on the wrong side of 30 now, and that he's had a fair amount of, like, kind of soft tissue injuries recently, including this calf one that he has now. Like, I think maybe that's a holdup for a guy who doesn't necessarily shoot the basketball well, but also the guy's a top 3 player in the NBA when he's healthy, like a proven champion. He's been one of the best players in the league for years. Like, his value is not going to plummet. Like, there's no world where it's going to. You know, we don't need to beat the drum on the Bucks again. I think we've talked enough about how disappointing they've been, but I don't think they also need, you're right. Like, I don't think they need to do this move now. Like, there's a chance I think he gets traded this season, because I think there are multiple teams who could put together an offer that is appealing to him, where he could come back, because this calf injury is not going to be the end of his season. I kind of agree with you in the sense that if he's not going to come, like, if he doesn't end up getting traded, I would be surprised to see him suit up for the Bucks again. Also, because I don't think it's in the Bucks' best interest to be winning right now. Like, you probably should be trying to get a higher draft pick at this point anyway. This team has clearly shown they're going nowhere fast. I think you just, you don't need to rush a trade here. Like, this is not a situation. If the Bucks move on from Giannis, like, you're clearly tearing this down and starting over. Like, if there's not an offer on the table that you're in love with, you don't have to make that move. I think they'll clearly have more suitors if they wait until the summertime. Like, right now, the main teams that are getting bounced around are the ones that we kind of hinted at already, right? Like, it's the Warriors if they try to make that move, and I understand why they would. Like, we'll break all this down, but it's like the Warriors, the Heat, and the Knicks are the teams that you're kind of watching. If it's going to happen this season, it feels like those are the teams to make the move, all for different reasons. Like, I think they make varying amounts of sense. The Warriors, you're in the maximizing your Steph Curry window camp.
And that goes back to my comment of everyone on the Warriors besides Steph is a piece that you use to get Giannis. Essentially, you go to the Bucks and you say everyone but Steph. Look at our picks. Look at everyone on the team. Who do you want? What gets this done?
Yeah. I mean,
that's what I do if I'm the Warriors, picks, players, everything. Let's go get them. Let's get Steph. Let's get Giannis together. And then from there, let's build out. Let's build it back out,
Yeah. Like, you just have Steph and Giannis, and you're right. And you figure it out. Like, it just feels like basketball nirvana, the rest of the team.
And even if you don't win this year, but you've got those two pieces, now you're building. Steph can take essentially a back seat in terms of having to be the premier scorer, which is what he's having to do right now with Jimmy getting hurt. Even if you could sneak by and get Jimmy to hold out until next year, you got Jimmy on that team with those two. Like, that would be interesting.
You're going to have to move Jimmy, though. That's the problem. In order to make the salaries work, you're going to have to move Jimmy. Like, it's going to be Jimmy. It's going to be Kuminga, which we obviously, we know all about that.
Well,
I think everybody's okay moving that now. You'd have to get, it's going to be multiple first rounders. Like, they don't have, Milwaukee doesn't have picks in 27 and 29. So that kind of complicates things a little bit, but they have other ways to get around that. It would be, it would essentially be Kuminga, Jimmy, and picks is what the Warriors.
Do you think this ends up being like regardless, if it gets done by the 5th, do you think this ends up being a multi-team trade, not just a straight up one and one team trade? Like, we're a 3-team deal?
Yeah, given the restrictions and given if there's a way to maximize it with Milwaukee, like, I can see plenty of teams who are trying to get in on this, especially teams that are, maybe tanking or something like that. If there's a way for them to, get some picks out of it, then absolutely.
Let me ask you this too. If the Warriors get involved doing that, obviously one of the names that I would be curious to hear about if they get moved and what the general interest level would be is Draymond. Like, I'm genuinely curious as to what that would look like. And if you're a team in the top 3 on either side of the conference, are you at all interested in adding Draymond to the team and helping them go get Giannis essentially to make a full run for it this year? if
No.
that makes sense.
No, there's no plan I'm taking Draymond in 2026. Like, there's just too much going on, man. We know what it is. Like, Draymond comes with a lot of positives, but I just don't feel like they'll be amplified anywhere outside of goal. If anything, I'm more just like wondering what a Giannis and Draymond fit on the court would look like. I don't think there's any planet where they're able to move.
Well, that's what I mean.
And if Draymond would even want to go, like, I think, like, it's at the point where I borderline think Draymond could consider retiring before going to a team that's like not contending right now. Like, he doesn't have anything left to prove on that front, obviously.
But you don't think like a Rockets or I don't know, somebody that's just a little bit younger could use that like kind of grit, gonna probably hurt you if you drive the lane mentality?
I mean, maybe. Like,
you know
maybe there's a contender that wants to get in there, but it's like, I don't think you're giving up a ton of value to get Draymond in there. I don't know if anybody's like...
Well, that's what I mean. Like, what is his value? What is that? Like, can you get him for a second at that point? Is that at least worth a flyer at that? If the Warriors are fully using everybody to go get Giannis, like, could you as a third team get in there and nitpick a few guys that could potentially push you over the edge for a playoff run?
To be honest, Justin, this is not the angle I expected to go with, so I haven't really thought about this scenario a ton. I just kind of figured Draymond is just there on the, like, he'd be the one player where it's like, all right, he'll still be there for sure.
But I just don't think Giannis and him would work. Like, it just wouldn't work together.
No, I think Draymond would have to take a smaller role. Like, but it's Giannis. Like, he has to be okay with that. Like, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, what are we talking about? I mean, the other teams with Miami, their problem is that they probably can get outbid by other teams. Like Miami, it's going to be like Ware and Hero and Picks. You know, Hero's from Milwaukee. That's fun. But I don't really know if that moves the needle. I think maybe in the summertime it gets a little different. I think Giannis is a noted Miami fan, which I think helps. But even then, like, that's kind of a weird roster. I don't know that I'm ready to like move that into anything of contention just yet.
And I saw just in passing at the bar the other night, the conversation around the Knicks is a lot of the cat conversation. And like Knicks would be the one that if Giannis ended up there, they would be scary immediately, regardless of what they had to do to get him. You would be like, oh, that's Thunder territory at that point.
Yeah, the Knicks getting Giannis makes all the sense in the world, and it would. The problem is that they don't really have the picks to do it. And they don't have the younger players to like compensate for the picks necessarily. Like, you've got Deuce McBride, he's cool, but like, again, that's not gonna. The question would be if you move Towns, and I think that's the question that New York is having right now. Is like, do we want to move Towns? Is Milwaukee all right moving Giannis for Towns and then paying him a potential supermax? Like, I think realistically, you know, not just Milwaukee, but I think teams in general would rather target, you know, go get Mikal Bridges, go get OG Anunoby. But in New York, if you're trying to win the title, I don't think you're giving those guys up. You want those wings on the Giannis roster with Jalen Brunson. Then obviously, like, I don't think you're moving Jalen Brunson either.
Well, I guess but
if you're right. They would be Giannis on the Knicks. They'd win the title this year. I think if they go out and get Giannis, like, I'm pretty confident in them winning the title at that point. Like, at the bare minimum, they're coming out of the East.
Well, yeah, it's Warriors Knicks at that point in terms of the betting odds, no doubt.
No, I don't know about the Warriors as much. Sorry, Warriors got to play the West, man.
Not Warriors. I meant Thunder. Thunder Knicks at that point. But to that, you know, you look at Cat's numbers; they are down right this year in terms of efficiency. He was shooting 56 or 52% last year off 16 field goal attempts. He's down to 46% this year off 14. The 3-point percentage went from a 42%. It's at 36 right now. He was at 24 points per game last season. He's at 20 right now. Rebounds are down about 1 a game. So are assists a little bit down. So, you know, in terms of at least duplicating last year, he's close, but it's a little bit down. And so when you're trying to thread a needle, like going up competing with the Thunder, as we were talking about, you kind of need everyone to be at 100%. So I think that's kind of where this cat conversation starts, more or less, because the numbers are a little bit down this year. Obviously still a great player and somebody that, you know, other teams would want, maybe not Milwaukee at that point in terms of the age and the timeline of their window. But even if you go get Cat now and then again, maybe in the offseason you trade him, but you know, what can you get for him? And again, to your point, like, what do the Knicks have that they can give up? Really, Cat is the biggest star that they can put out there, or name that they can put out there, or value that they could put out there, to potentially make a move like this happen, or at least potentially get the Bucks to the table. What it looks like, I don't know, and it'll be interesting to see. But out of all the teams that keep coming up, I go, the only one that really makes sense in my head is New York.
Yeah, I feel like if Giannis wants to he'd have to influence it. I feel like if he wants to go to New York a little bit, almost to scare some of these other teams off, like that way it can lower the playing field a little bit. Because look, if we get into the summertime, I think there are plenty of teams that can jump in as well. Like, because there are a lot of destinations that make sense that, I think Atlanta makes a ton of sense. They've got the assets to do it. Orlando with the Magic, if they want to take a swing there, if you decide that Paulo and Franz aren't good enough, go get Giannis, pair him with Desmond Bane. You got the Lakers who have picks, the Spurs, Rockets, Pistons, like all have picks in ways they can get involved. So, I think that's why. Again, I don't know if the urgency is there to do this right now. I think this is for sure hey, Giannis is for sale, whether this is happening now or whether this is happening in the summertime. Understand what it is. Like, this is the beginning of our breakup. Like, we've had an unbelievable run. Giannis is probably the best player in franchise. I never forget the probably. Like, Giannis is the best Milwaukee Buck in franchise history. His tenure was so much longer than Kareem. Kareem's the only other one I'm thinking about. But I think Kareem played there 6 years. Giannis played there 12 already. Both have won championships, obviously. Like, this is not an easy decision. Like, Milwaukee, their titles are 50 years apart. These are, Giannis is a special player, but I do. Like, as it all comes back to, this team isn't going anywhere. Trading Giannis is the start of where you can rebuild this thing. Because I do. You got to tear it down and you got to start from scratch, which is a brutal proposition. But again, at least you can hang your hat on having won the title. Like, that really does change things.
Someone made a list a year ago, so take that with a grain of salt, on Reddit, of the top 30 Milwaukee Bucks players of all time. They actually put Kareem number 1 over Giannis.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. Number 3 is Sidney Moncrief. And Ray Allen landed number 8. Andrew Bogut at number 9. Glenn Robinson.
4 and 5.
4's Marquise Johnson, 5 Oscar Robinson, 6 Terry Cummins, 7's Vin Baker.
I gotta look back at this roster. This is a wild list so far. Not what I expected.
Put it this way: Drew Holiday landed 16.
I'm not mad at that. Drew was great and a huge part of a championship team. Like, Chris Middleton should be up there somewhere.
Chris Middleton is 12.
That feels low. That has to be. He can't be 12 in my eyes. Like, there's no planet that Chris Middleton is a worse Buck than Vin Baker. I mean, we shouldn't be arguing. This is a random Reddit list. We shouldn't be arguing with this right now. But there's just no planet to me that Chris Middleton should be lower on a Bucks all-time list than Vin Baker. That's just wrong.
Once you get to the back 30, Dame's 21, Sam Cassell is 20, Brook Lopez 25, Eric Bledsoe 26, Brandon Jennings number 30.
I thought Jennings low-key might be higher than Bledsoe. As crazy as that sounds.
The first
Jennings' highs were high.
The first response on it is, wow, you actually did a full list.
I mean, yeah. I mean, top 30 list, the Bucks don't have the worst top 30 list, honestly. Like, they're they're far from the number 1, obviously, but you've had some definitive good players there, obviously. Like, you mentioned Ray Allen, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. Glenn Robinson, I think, should be on that list somewhere. Either way. Oscar Robertson, who we mentioned, is super great. But yeah, either way.
No
Giannis
OJ Mayo,
for sure.
No OJ Mayo on the list.
We played there 3 years, I think.
Okay, he had a 60-point game. I know that for a fact.
He did have a 60-point game. And one of the greatest high school tapes of all time. I feel like we say that frequently. But all right, let's switch gears here a little bit. Who's balling, who's falling? Our NBA version of the stock market. We always start with the good before the bad. And so I'm going to start this week. Balling for me is the Charlotte Hornets, rising up those Eastern Conference standings here pretty quick, putting themselves in play-in spot. They won 5 in a row as of recording this. 7-3 in their last 10. Their point differential is positive. The big story for me here, the turn, is Brandon Miller's just been a flamethrower since coming back. I mean, he's been phenomenal. Really putting in a lot of points for them. Kon had an excellent rookie season that we've talked about. Spoiler alert, you're going to bring him up here a little bit in a sec as well. And then LaMelo is doing good LaMelo things right now. It feels like anytime you're watching LaMelo, it's you're watching an experience, but it's been the good LaMelo experience. Chicago's been kind of trending down. They're certainly vulnerable. Atlanta doesn't feel like they're running away with anything right now. So, good for the Hornets. If they're able to get in and get in the play-in position, it feels like this team is healthy and building momentum. That's been a lot of the story too with LaMelo and Brandon Miller, is they just haven't been healthy so far. It's good to see them start to put some things together here in Charlotte. And obviously Knipple, excellent rookie season, going to be right in the running for Rookie of the Year.
Well, and to that, by the way, they just texted me, Kevin. So we'll go quick here. But
okay.
I am also on the same wavelength as you for balling, or Ballin, I should say. We got Coop and Knuppel on my list because they just faced off the other day off that. Coop dropped 49 points. Knuppel had 34, but set a record for most three-pointers made in the game by a rookie. It's his 13th game with 5 or more threes, which ties Sadiq Bey as well for threes by a rookie in NBA history. So those two had one hell of a game against each other. And it started off slow with Cooper Flagg. I think it was 1 for 4 or something like that. But Flagg also, in terms of history, his 49 points are the most made by a rookie since Trae Young did his 40-plus game and 10-plus rebound game in 2019. So shout out to them. I believe Flagg also first rookie since Blake Griffin with a 45 and 10 rebound game. He did that, obviously, his rookie season in 2011.
Yeah, they've all been hooping here. Those two and VJ Edgecombe just absolutely lighting the league on fire. Going to be a good Rookie of the Year race. Since you got to go, just here, hit your Fallin real quick, and then you legit can walk up and I'll wrap this up here. I know Justin's got real work things to do today. So I don't want to keep him from his real job because that is way more important. As much as we love this podcast,
gotta go talk legal things.
And not with
on the radio station. I know, isn't that crazy? I gotta go talk legal stuff with random lawyers, which is always terrifying. So my Fallin is gonna go to Chris Boucher, who wanted his first bucket since the 23 season. And he did make one the other night, which was a blowout win. The reason it's falling is Westbrook took a little bit of an exception to it at first and kind of got up in Chris's face. Chris then explained the situation, and Westbrook gave him a hug. So we're all good. But how crazy is that? What a cool story. Dude, that's got to feel good. 3 years later, you finally get an NBA bucket again.
He was good. He had a good start to his career. It's not like he was he had a few years there, especially in Toronto. Definitely a good moment for him. Kind of tying into Russ, Fallen for me is the Kings this week, who are officially down to last place in the Western Conference. They've lost 8 in a row. Heartbreaker to the Sixers the other night. Tyrese Maxey, game winner there. Shout out to our boy. But they're 12-38 on the season now. Again, going the wrong direction, honestly, but should be. As we get into trade deadline too, something we talked about. An intriguing team to watch with DeRozan, with Levine, with Sabonis. It should be everything is for sale right now.
Dude, right? I'm telling you, I bet they're one team that's can this Giannis stuff just go through so we can do our thing? Come on.
Yeah, actually, because they have a lot of other attractive pieces for sure. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of the Drive and Dish NBA podcast. We are going to skip grid this week. We'll get back with that next week. Leave us a review on iTunes, good or bad. I'll read them on the podcast. If you're not an Apple user, Google Play Store, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon, Player FM, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find us. Watch the podcast. Just search Drive and Dish NBA podcast on YouTube. You can see the video version there. That's, of course, where we post the immaculate grids as well. We'll be back next week. Trade deadline coming soon. Stay tuned for that, and we will talk to you guys soon.